At Kroger, an annual Boost membership just got even better. Now you can choose from Disney Plus with ads, Hulu with ads, or ESPN Plus on us when you sign up. Plus, enjoy unlimited free delivery, double fuel points, exclusive offers, and free items. Sign up for a Boost membership today. It's an easier way to save, including new streaming options to relax with while we deliver your groceries. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander, and I'm here to host our show, Life, Laughter, Happiness. Today, I have my co-host, Barbara, here with me. Are you there, Barbara?
I sure am, Johnny. How are you today?
Doing good. And let's introduce our guest, Charis B. Playboy, Playmate.
Charis Boyle, a.k.a. Charis B, because you are so lucky to have two last B names. But Miss February, Playboy Playmate, Miss February 2003. Wow, you are a Valentine Playmate, Charis.
I am. Even Hef told me that I was the sweetheart month.
Oh, that is so special. It really is. It's a special month. It's not like just a typical like April or June. I feel special too with mine, Christmas. So that's cool that he said that to you.
Things that were so special. I got to meet you.
I can't even hear her, Johnny. Can you hear her? She'll say one thing, and then I hear the first word.
Got to meet you. Did you get to meet Barbara?
Of course. I've known Barbara for about 21 years now.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I was thinking back when I was doing a little research on you today about your company. I saw 2003, and I thought, what was I doing in 2003? Then I remembered who I was with, and then you came on board. So I had been a Playmate for already 11 years. Did you know that?
I did not know that, but there are so many wonderful women that I met through so many years, even the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. So, I mean, we're just a very eclectic, interesting, gorgeous group of women.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you said that because I feel that too. I'd love to hear that from the Playmates who feel like it's really like a sorority, a sisterhood, because we're all equal, really. We have our own month and year. There's no real fighting. I never experienced it, except for maybe Playmate of the Year. How about you?
No, I didn't. I mean, for me, I think they told me that I was like the third or fourth oldest Playmate ever. I was already married. I had a 3-year-old son at the time. I had homes and businesses going. And so for me, it was something that I did just to kind of see if I could do it. So just getting Miss February was really good enough for me. And I know that Playmate of the Year was something that was definitely even more of a competition, obviously, than just one of 12 in the year. And a lot of that was political, as you know, inside. A lot of it was who people voted for. A lot of it was how many parties and events and out on the town and who you were dating or marrying at the time.
Exactly.
And I just wasn't available. I wasn't available to play that game. So it wasn't even something that, you know, I really cared much about.
Exactly. And even if you did win with the phone-in votes, it's still Hef is thinking, you know, hey, who's on the billboard this month? Or who's got the biggest role? I need to sell more magazines. So it is so political. Definitely.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. Well, let's get back to you and how it all began, because I like to start from childhood, really. What kind of kid were you? Where did you grow up? I want to find out.
Well, geez. That's interesting. I like that. Nobody ever goes all the way back.
Yeah.
I grew up, let's see, I was born in Alexandria, Virginia, and lived there till I was about 10. By the time I was, 10 years old, I was a horseback rider. So I was 3 years in a row, national show jumping champion at the age of 10, 11, and 12.
Wow.
And, yeah, and we would I lived between Virginia and South Florida pretty much my whole life. Every winter we would go down to Florida, and that's where kind of horseback riding kind of transferred to because it's so cold up north. And my parents divorced when I was 10. My mom and I moved to Florida, so I found myself going back and forth quite a bit. And
was it just you?
Let's see.
Did you have siblings?
What?
Any
you know
siblings,
what? I am the only child from my mother and father. And then when my dad remarried, my stepmom, who they are still together from when I was 10, she brought 2 children, a 4 and a 3-year-old, into the marriage, which my dad adopted when they were in their teens before they went into high school. And then together they had 2. So I'm the oldest of 5 with 2 half-sisters. Actually 2 biological half-sisters and the 2 that are adopted, but they've been my brother and sister since I was literally, 10. So
right. It doesn't matter about blood when it's like that. You guys were a family, and it's so nice to hear that it was a good family. But then you grow up and you become a Playboy Playmate, although it's later in your 20s, and you probably are who you are, and they know who you are by then. So I'm thinking that the parents were okay with it. Tell us about that.
Yeah. I mean, I had already gotten myself into all sorts of fun things prior to even Playboy. As a lot of Playmates I'd find is part of the story. I had gone to Catholic boarding school. I had gotten kicked out of boarding school. I had, left for California in a Volkswagen Bug by myself at 17 and a half, moved to San Diego for 5 years, went back to Virginia, got married, had my son. We owned some of the largest nightclubs and restaurants in Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia area. And that's kind of how I was out and about, really, to find myself in, a bit of a position for, modeling and Playboy and all of that. But to actually answer your question, my family, my mom was supportive. My dad was actually the Washington Post called my family. Everyone actually in my family, and everyone but my mother and father were not very happy with it.
Oh my gosh, because they're shocked when these people call up and they don't warn us that they're calling. That happened to me with my grandma, and she never even knew I was going to be a Playboy Playmate. And I was pretty young. I mean, I didn't really want to tell her. And the newspaper called her up too. And the first thing she said was, "Oh, she would never do that." And I was already published.
Oh, my goodness. Well, mine was a little of a softer landing. I had done Playboy special editions, and I had been a cyber girl prior to being a Playmate for about 3 years. So they had a little bit of a soft landing. I told them I was going to do the special editions and da-da-da-da. So when I kind of tested and, went for Playmate and they found out that I was going to be a Playmate, it wasn't like a big shock at that point. So bit of a softer landing.
That's good. Oh, I know a Playmate who did that too around my time, Nariah Davis. She started out like that too. So what made you go for doing the Playboy special editions before just going full force to try to be a Playboy Playmate? Was it just you wanted to show off your awesome body, which you have still to this day? Amazing body, by the way. I want to know later how you get that. What?
You are too
really
sweet. No, I mean, I had, let's see, how did it start? You know, I grew up, you know, like I said, in South Florida, and growing up in the 80s in Fort Lauderdale, you know, I had to pass like the wet T-shirt contest and the bikini contest and the belly flop contest on my way to the grocery store with my mom at 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And, you know, everybody was cruising. And so bodies and songs and big hair and big fake boobs and all of that was just, you know, kind of something that I had always seen that really kind of wasn't a big deal. So for me, the idea of it, and as well, you're young, you know, it's the early 80s, MTV's coming on, you see ZZ Top and you see Van Halen and you see all of these sexy girls, and a lot of them were Playmates, you know, that were doing a lot of the music videos, and it was just a time. I think I just hit this era and this time where that woman was strong and sexy and powerful, and she owned her body, and she was confident, and all the men loved it, and it was fun. It looked like they were having the best time. So for me, it was kind of a no-brainer. I was that personality anyway. So to go do special editions, I actually went into the Chicago offices and had a meeting with Jeff Cohen, who was the head of kind of special editions and like Playmate Playmate tests and things like that out of Chicago and the East Coast for the most part. And he's like, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I want to be a Playmate. And he's like, so does every other woman, girl, whatever. And he's like, how about you shoot for special editions in 3 weeks? And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, whatever. And he's like basically tried to convince me how that was better because you could shoot literally every month and you got paid every single time. And it wasn't a one-shot deal. It was just a consistent, you know, modeling job. And so within 3 weeks, I did it. Actually, the photographs ended up in the Playboy Legacy collection. I don't know if you know what that is, that box set that went around with Pam Anderson around the world to like 8 countries. And one of my shots was picked for the whole coffee table book, and it happened to be my first shoot. So it was really a fun experience doing special editions. And I do remember Nariah.
Oh, yeah. And I love doing it after I came along. I didn't know any of that existed. I didn't know Playboy had that many more magazines on the shelves. So that gave the Playmates even a lot of work after they came out because, you know, the one-shot thing, it pays just the one-shot time. And you still got to make your money, so that those special edition magazines were amazing to work for all the time. But not everybody did. Did you know that? Not everybody got booked on those.
Oh yeah, I know. I do know that, and they were really fun, and the locations were amazing, and it was like the time that was just fun and sexy and free, and it was just nothing but a good time.
And you were packing in fun times to your life, into your life. You were just not afraid of anything, it sounds like. But I want to ask you, okay, when you were around 10 and 11, passing by all of this, in the fun, party, wild stuff going on in Florida, I'm sure was amazing. And you were right smack dab in the middle. Were you a late bloomer, early bloomer? I mean, you're 5'8". You look like a fashion model. You could do that too as well. I mean, did you have the figure yet?
Well, to be honest with you, but probably by the age of like 8 or 9, Well, I never had any boobs. I was flat as the wall. And I knew by like 10, looking at my mom, who was flat as well, that I wasn't getting something from nothing. So I already knew that boobs was not going to be in my future and that someday I would have to purchase a pair. And, you know, again, in the 80s, fake boobs were kind of all the rage, and that's when they really, like, you know, you started to see a lot. But by the age of 9, because of competitively horseback riding, literally every single day of the week for years, I had just like a really, I don't know how you describe, like a really intense body. I had like a kind of really long legs and a really big butt and really strong abs and really kind of long and lanky, but with no boobs. It was really, not underdeveloped, but, you know, all the boys were like, I can't wait till you're 18. And then the other ones were like, you know, what are you wearing a bra for? You don't need one. So it was completely, I got one way and the other. So, you know, I definitely had all the parts, let's just say, that people have a hard time purchasing.
And the face.
For their body.
Right?
And the one thing that I kind of felt, for me at least, you know, I always loved kind of like the big 70s boobs, was that one day I was going to have to, you know, I was going to have to purchase a pair. But no, I was already, no, I would definitely say I've always looked a lot younger than my age. I mean, even at, you know, 22, I probably looked like I was maybe 15, or I could pass 14, 15. You know, back in those days, when the girls weren't pulled together, we weren't pulled together like they are now.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah, but that's a wonderful thing, though. That was a wonderful thing. Johnny has a question. Go ahead.
Well, you know, it's funny. I wanted to know, I've asked other Playmates this, and I've sort of figured that maybe you would probably agree to this. The reason I like seeing Playboy Playmates on the show is that you pretty much are the one celebrity that you put you in a room with 5 to 10 other celebrities, and all those other celebrities are going to seek you out. In other words, if I put you in a room with a bunch of soap opera stars, everyone's going to want to talk to the Playmate. Would you say that's basically true?
I think it's always very interesting. I mean, people always want to ask so many questions. And, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, no matter how big of a celebrity someone is, they always still kind of wanted to have their pictorial in Playboy, you know. Right. So it was like,
if they want to hang out with the Playmate, it's like a big deal. Right. It's like, oh, I was the soap opera star, and I'm hanging out with Barbara Moore, you know.
Right. It definitely does have its, vibe for sure. People are really intrigued. The one thing about it I find really, really interesting is obviously so many people, assume that for you to be nude in a magazine, that anything else, sexually or whatever goes. So the things that I've had people tell me about themselves and the things that I've had people assume is hilarious. Like I could write a book, and I just sit there and listen to people. And because honestly, I have heard it all and I have seen a lot. But it is just funny how so many people assume, because of Playboy that, everything's like over the top sexual and anything goes with any Playmate anytime.
Well, right, and you know what? I don't even wear a thong out there on the beach because I don't have perfect lighting following me around everywhere. Sometimes I do if I feel like really in shape, but things like you are just going to go half naked everywhere, but we still have some modesty. There's a place and time for everything, and we are human beings. Hello, everybody, with morals and values. Yeah, but it's what we go through, too, that brings us so much wisdom. You became an owner of many businesses, but the main business right now, which, by the way, I am a member of, and I'm getting all of your wonderful texts throughout the day about your
fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. When we scheduled you a long time ago for this, I became a member, and I get them every day. Although, Charis, I'm too far away to get deliveries, but I still wanted to be on the newsletter. Okay, let's talk about that.
You're too sweet. I'll have to get you some goodies. We'll have to meet up.
Because I am truly a person that enjoys this, regularly. Regularly I am, and I am proud of it. TMW, The Medicine Woman, is the name of your business, which you are the founder, owner, and creative director, correct? Tell us about it.
That's true. We started as a medical marijuana delivery in South Orange County in 2015. We grew pretty quickly. I had about over 10,000, 20,000 patients. And then a lot of the laws were changing. That was under Prop 215 here in the state of California, which allowed you a few more legalities of protection, but still illegal if you weren't paying your taxes and handling things. Let's just, on a more of an up and up way. And in 2017, they were changing those rules and regulations. There still is Prop 215, but if you wanted to go legal, they were changing the whole way that people could purchase, and opening different cities were giving licenses. I was able to get a license. Actually, I got 3 licenses in Bellflower, California, at the end of 2017, and we opened actually early 2019, and we're at 9058 Rose Street. It crosses 91, the 605, and the 5, kind of in that area, kind of near Long Beach, within 3 miles inland of Long Beach Airport. Beautiful shop, absolutely beautiful. And we are, yes, and we actually were just awarded last month our second license in New Jersey, in Jersey City, New Jersey. We will be opening another Medicine Woman, and I happen to be partners with H.E.A.T.
Wow. Oh, my gosh.
H.E.A.T?
What? I love him.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah, he's so pretty awesome.
He's so awesome. I love Snoop Dogg, too, which is an avid medical marijuana guy.
Yes, he's fantastic.
When you, on your Instagram, IG, you can find Charis_P, IG, but then it also leads you to the Medicine Woman. So you can get all the information on how to get on the newsletter, order from you, be delivered, which I find it kind of strange because I am in Orange County, Huntington Beach, but the perimeter is, I'm a little too far.
No, we actually do a delivery once a week to South County. So you can get on a delivery order to South County for sure. You just got to call up and ask them what day they're going to be delivering down south.
Okay,
but for sure, if you're in that area, for sure.
Okay, then I will do that because I like.
But I'm all the way down in San Juan, and when there's no traffic, I'm only 35 minutes from my shop. So you are literally, with no traffic, are 15 minutes from the shop where you're at.
Okay, perfect. And you're my friend, so I'd rather get it from you. And I also wanted to check it out. I saw on a post today, one of yours, I think on IG, the story that you were unloading. It looked like you were in your warehouse. Was that it? You're doing?
You know
on
what?
Your Instagram?
I'm not
a lot of
sure. On my personal or the Medicine Woman?
I'm not sure. I can go back on there, but you were unloading boxes, and it looks kind of like a warehouse type of thing or a stock room.
No, maybe that was me for a trade show that we were doing. I'll have to take a look.
Okay, I'll take a look too. But, I mean, the point is that you are really a businesswoman and you're busy. I had no idea that you own nightclubs. I had absolutely no idea you did that before Playboy.
You know, I will say something else. Oh, well, what I was going to say is we've had a lot of playmates on that are business people. We have Renee Tennyson. I always think of Renee Tennyson. It's like, wow, this big, business lady, and it's like it's
most
like
of them
nice.
Are.
Oh, I know.
Most of them are.
It's nice.
Most of them are, or they're trying, but you are really established, and this is so quick for this last company, TMW, the Medicine Woman, which is very, very clever, by the way. I love it. And what is your merch like? And can we get that? Like, I'd like to get one of those hats that you have.
I'm going to send you whatever you want.
Oh,
so you just tell me and send me a message. I'm going to send you a goodie package.
But
our merch,
Charis.
That's what my husband and I, prior to the Medicine Woman, owned a company called Silver Star. We're very engaged with the action sports industry. So, the X Games and the Dew Tour, skateboarders, motorcycles. All of that. I was a sponsored rider for Yamaha for 3 years, and all we did was apparel and accessories, and we got heavily involved with the UFC, I would say, from about 2007. We had always been involved with UFC, but we made it more of a business. In 2007, 2008, we sold the company in 2010, but we had at the time about 12 world champions. We're selling all of our merchandise. It was called Silver Star again, and sold that in 2010. So we come from a long apparel background as well. So our apparel for the Medicine Woman, we have so much fun with, just our graphics and new products and, just new things. So it's a little bit of our side fun that we get to have in the marijuana industry is our apparel.
It seems like something is shining down on you, because not only have you accomplished so much, but you have the best husband. I mean, I've met him. I see you guys together, and now
he is
I find
the
out
best
how much you're
husband
doing.
ever in the whole world. I'm a lucky girl.
Luke Burrett, correct?
That is true. That is correct. And you want to hear something really crazy? We've been together every single day and every single night since February 1st, 2003.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. Inseparable. Wow. I have shivers all over from that. That's amazing. I mean, God is shining down on you. That is for
it's
sure.
Definitely interesting, but we're happy. It's not for everybody, but we're happy.
It's not for everybody, but if you're that in love and you're that happy with each other, why not see each other every single day? You don't need any time apart if it's like that. And then do you have one child, one son?
We each have a son from our former marriages and none together.
Oh, wow.
I said when we got together, I said, I want to marry you and have none of your babies. So we stay together forever. I was kidding, of course, but no, he's raised my son since he was 3. His dad is in his life as well, but he's really raised my son since he was 3, and it's been fantastic. I'm super blessed.
That's so wonderful when everybody can really get along. Every single party involved can all get along. That's the way it should be. Okay, when I last saw you was when we were in the bunny costumes. Wasn't that an amazing 60th anniversary for Playboy that we were able to do?
Oh, my goodness. Do you know that was the only time I ever got to wear a bunny costume?
Me too.
Really? I just wanted to so bad.
Charis. What up with that? We would have been great bunnies for many years. I don't understand that.
Yeah, for me it was, again, more of a just other priorities I had going on in my life that were work things and businesses that, you know, that was just something that you had to be available, you know, on the more regular basis, and I was able to be available. So it was something more or less that I had to personally turn down. They asked me, but when they told me that, you know, they needed me for this, and this, and it just wasn't going to be something for me.
Yes.
So it's fine, but I got to wear it, and they let me wear the color I wanted, and they were so sweet.
That was black. Was that black?
Yep, it was so fun.
Yes.
Yep, it was.
I wanted black too, because that's iconic.
That
is the iconic
What did you
color.
wear?
I wore black as well. I have photos with you, a lot of them. I'm going to post those along with this show. Yes, black.
Will you please?
Black.
I want to see them. I want to see them, and I want to post them too. I love all of my throwback photos for sure.
Okay, I want to get back because we are going to close this show in 15 minutes. I want to get back to some exciting things that everybody always wants to know. And that is your relationship with Hugh Hefner. What was that like? Did you party with him? Did you have conversations? What was it like?
I had the best relationship with Hef. I partied hard with Hef. I had a blast with Hef. Hef was just such a great person. Anything, you know, I was married at the time and had a son. And being from the East Coast, I would have to come out and stay because I was just shooting different, you know, things for my pictorial. So I would stay at the house for, you know, 2-3 weeks at a time and go back and come out for a week and go back. And then I'd come to big events and go back. So I spent quite a lot of time at the house and in the house and, you know, sleeping under the roof and kind of being involved in the dailies. And he, you know, and even when I was having a hard time with my ex-husband, he told me that if I needed somewhere to go, I could go stay with my son at the bunny house. And, you know, he was just really just he was just a wonderful man. He was just a really wonderful man. And, it's been really interesting this last year with all of these, you know, things coming out about him and who he was and this, that, and the other. And, again, I don't take anybody's stories away from them and what their experiences are, good, bad, or indifferent. But, you know, I definitely know why they're saying that, and I know what happens, and I know why they're saying those things, but none of those things were, let's just say, necessarily valid in the way the story is being told. So
I want to say something else about that. Some of the Playmates have been misquoted. I've talked to some of them, and then they say, listen, I never said that. They took that completely out of. I talked to one that we had on. I won't say her name, but she said, Christy Tom said that she was blatantly misquoted, and I said to her, I mean, she says, all that was ridiculous. They took everything I said out of context. I didn't say that. So.
And then Tylen John, they did that to a lot of people, even Allison Reynolds, who we saw at the mansion. She was a makeup artist. Remember her? One of Hef's really great friends.
But even her and her husband, Joel, even said they didn't even sound like they were against him at all. You know, so even if they even twisted it a little bit, like they sounded like they were all for him in terms of the other people that were on it. But I mean, I was there and like living and staying at, not living, but staying at the mansion, like I said, for weeks at a time when he had the 7 girlfriends, when it was Holly and Tina and, you know, Holiday, you know, Tiffany Holiday and Christy Shake and, you know, the 7 girlfriends. And I watched how the whole dichotomy of how it all worked and who did what and where you stood and who did what to get what. And, you know, I mean, the one thing that nobody's talking about is, you know, as women or men or children or whatever, like, where's your fine line? Where are your morals? Where's your fine line to get what you want? My dad told me when I was 17, Charis, I don't care what you want to be. You want to be a florist, you want to be the garbage collector, you want to be, you know, work on Wall Street. There's somebody that wants your job more than you, and they're going to be willing to do anything to get it. So you have to figure out what it is that you're willing to do and figure that out ahead of time before you go too far on something that means something to you or not. And unfortunately, I don't think any of those young girls ever had anybody or teach them or tell them, hey, like, what are you willing to do? You know?
Exactly.
H.E.A.T didn't run any type of cult. Doors were open. It was free for all. Anybody could do what they wanted. He wasn't doing any of that. Did he offer this? Did he offer that? Yes. Just like they do at an ad executive office in New York City on a Friday night when you're working late. You know, but
exactly.
what is it you think you're going to get? And why are you saying yes to doing something? Because nothing's pushed. Nothing's dropped in a drink. Nothing was ever like that. It never needed to be. There is a million and one girls waiting in line to do anything for anything, and they didn't care. So, you know, the problem is they've just gotten to a place in their life, and they're older, and they look back, and they're like, I can't, you know, look at where I'm at, and I did this, and I did that. And they're just, you know, now their morals are different, but they, you know, and I've watched all of these. I've watched them all do things, you know, I've seen it.
The bottom line, after you watched them do this, do you think the bottom line was that every single one of them wanted Playboy Playmate status?
100%. That was like the Holy Grail. That's what everyone wanted. I mean, they told me that there's 2.5 million women sending in their photos every year for 12 spots.
Let me tell you a little fact. You are more likely to be a Navy SEAL than you are going to be a Playboy Playmate. I found out that there's more. I mean, that's how rare you girls are.
Wow. Okay, you had the good head on your shoulders, Charis, and I mean, H.E.A.T obviously noticed that and had you around, and you know, you were probably put on a pedestal like most Playboy Playmates, but do you think Hugh Hefner knew how powerful this want was to be a Playboy Playmate, that they will do anything, they will fake it, they will pretend they love you to get this title? Did he realize this?
100%, and he used that himself.
Mhm.
You know,
which is fine,
he used it himself.
Look.
Just like, why does a man go up to a woman in a bar and ask her if she wants a drink? What? Right. He just wants to buy her a drink and walk away? He doesn't want to say one word to her, doesn't want to talk to her, doesn't want to get to know her? Like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? It's like, you have to be responsible for what you're putting out again. You know, like, everybody knows they're watching their girlfriend. Do you want to go? Should we do this? Do we do that? Everybody's talking. Everybody knows. It's no secret. As you know, I don't know what it was like in your era, but at least in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was blatantly obvious. And you know, that.
Oh no, I saw it change,
you know,
Charis. I came along and he was married, so it was way different. When I came along, we could hardly even talk to H.E.A.T. There was no partying.
Yeah.
There was toys all around. The kids were in high chairs. So then when that took a turn, that was 1992, I became a Playmate. The year 2000, the split, I saw all the girls come. He actually came to my birthday party, my 30th birthday party, with those Bentley twins. So, I mean, can you imagine me? I saw everything change, and I was so glad because when I got there, I thought, I have missed the fun. I have missed the stuff. But no.
Yeah, and it got way outrageous again.
Yeah, even more, I think.
I think so, because I had heard from some of the you know, Playmates and Playmates of the Year from the 60s and 70s and, you know, early 80s that, you know, the 2000s were, you know, pretty full steam ahead for sure in every, you know, in every way.
In every way. Okay, well, that is a little tidbit of information that we did not know. I love hearing this. It's so fun, right? I mean, it's your story. And, of course, you could write a book.
Fun,
you could write a book about many
and H.E.A.T was so fun. You know, he was such a fun guy. He was very self-deprecating. My favorite photo is me. I've got a wig. We're, you know, standing in his closet. He's getting dressed, and I put a blonde wig on top of his head, and he's just laughing with this platinum blonde wig on his head. And it was, you know, I'm not even yet getting ready. Got a ponytail on my, you know, head and no makeup on, but it was just such a, you know, random moment. He was so playful that, you know, it was just really, really great times, I think, for everyone.
You are so lucky. He even said the girls in the 90s, I have a special place in my heart for them because I never really got to know them very well because they was married. And it's true. It's true. So many I've interviewed
he tried.
Can't really have conversations with him. Yeah, he did try. But with you guys, your era, he did it. And I am happy for you. I'm glad to hear it. And I would love to hear even more stories. But every single interview, I know we don't have much time. I want to go over your centerfold because everybody wants to know, what was it like? Okay, you already disrobed. You were doing Playboy special editions, but your centerfold week, wasn't that special? Tell us about what was your theme? What was it like? Did you like it?
I think you know what? I don't know. The way people see you is different than how you see yourself, but I was just excited in whatever way. And he always said that I reminded him of my look was an old Hollywood starlet. He always said I reminded him of the actresses from the 30s and the 40s. So he wanted to do something that was a very feminine and very throwback and all body and this, that. And, you know, it is absolutely, I think it is stunningly beautiful. My only thing was I was literally arguing with my ex-husband all day, every day, and they were having to fix my makeup. So if you look at my face and my centerfold, I look miserable. It's, you know, that's my only thing is that I wish that, you know, in my eyes, I looked how I felt. And it was the best time of my life and the worst time of my life intersecting at a crossroads at the same time. So while I felt beautiful and I was so excited and I just couldn't get over it, I was also so sad, and you can kind of see both in my centerfold, but I love it.
Unfortunately, that was the theme for many that we've talked to that were going through this with a boyfriend type. It's very traumatizing for them, unfortunately. But I think you're probably the only one who can see that, and that is interesting. What were you wearing? Was it a Valentine's theme? I don't have the book with me right here. So you know,
I had a photographer, a very famous photographer. His name's Ian Scott, and he told me that I was the only one in history that didn't have an article of clothing on ever at all.
You didn't?
Somebody has a tie. Somebody has something. I literally have nothing. I had shoes on, and I'm holding the top to a perfume bottle. That's it. And I have nothing else draping me or doing anything. So I was like, so I've looked back through all of my collections trying to find someone who's like, you know, it's amazing how photographers and collectors and fans find these little details, but, you know, so.
I love it. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Everybody go and look at the issue February 2003, and that's all fun. When we hear from the actual centerfold about little details like this, it's so much more fun to go back and look. And it's funny that you mentioned Ian Scott, because he is the guy that I hired to shoot the first news I had ever shot. I was living in Nashville, and he came to my modeling agency there from Florida, gave me his card. He's like, yes. He's like, if you are ever interested in doing Playboy, I shoot for, high fashion magazines, topless Italian magazines. And I kept his card for all those years. And I did call him when I was ready. 3 or 4 years later, I did call him, and I flew down there.
Isn't that funny?
He sent in the photos, and that's why I was called by Playboy, because of him.
Oh, my goodness. What a story. Look at us. Look at us go with Ian.
Had no idea. And you know what? I love doing this show for reasons like this, because we all are Playmate sisters, and we get together for jobs or whatever. So we never dive deep into each other's background and life and pick their brain about anything. So I find out so much more about friends and acquaintances as Playmates. It's amazing and so very fun. We almost have done 30.
This is awesome, and I love it. And you're right, it is really fun just to, talk about more of the details, because it's all the fun is in the details.
It is. It sure is fun. But we know that you have a conference call right now, so we're going to let you go. But everybody, go seek out Charis and get taken care of. She's the medicine woman, remember? Her company's called TMW. Her IG is Charis _B, and Twitter @CharisB. Is there anywhere else that you want to shout out to the listeners to find you?
You can find me, like you just said, on Instagram at CHARIS _B. And check out The Medicine Woman, www.themedwoman.com.
Awesome. And you know what? Thank you so much for offering my little package. And I'm excited, and hopefully I'll be able to see you. Maybe we can indulge together.
I would love that. All right. Well, hit me up. And you guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much. Thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate it, you guys.
Thank you.
I'm going to send you a link to the show, okay?
I love it. Okay. I can't wait. Thank you guys. Have a great one. Appreciate you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. That was awesome, Johnny. Great.
All right.
I love Charis. I've always loved Charis. She's on her way to go do her phone call. She's
and I'm going to go ahead and end the episode. Okay?
No, I'm not done talking. I would like to do our shout-out. She is gone. So everybody, please always check our Blog Talk Radio for our next show. You can find it there. And from time to time, we will post one of our shows up on our YouTube channel, Life, Laughter, Happiness, YouTube. And we also are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under Life, Laughter, Happiness, where I do post a lot of fun stuff, things I am doing throughout the day, etc. So, Johnny, how did you like the show?
It was great. It was really great. I liked the idea that you can bring your friends on. I like that. I like it when you bring your friends on.
Well, yeah, especially if they're Playboy Playmates. All right, everybody. Have a great night, and we will see you soon.
Night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.